Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer, fun for all that children call their favorite time of year. Snowflakes in the air, carols everywhere, olden times and ancient rhymes of love and dreams to share. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere, Yuletide by the fireside and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, we'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year. Bells in the air, beauty everywhere, Yuletide by the fireside and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, we'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year.
Hi there, guys, and of course, welcome back. If you recall that time that we spent with Sir Edward Santelices and Mr. Jordan Harabello back in episode 5, we learned a lot about the differences between the interpretation and priorities of music majors and non-music majors when it comes to the musical learning experience in general. But again, we would like to say here in this episode, as we constantly did in previous episodes before this, we do not discriminate. And yes, music has always been a part of our lives since the beginning of time, even before formal music education was invented. So it only goes to show that music is biologically part of our human lives, and anyone around the world could perform music. For me, for example, I was a voice major graduate, and I had experiences performing for opera productions and Broadway productions. And yes, I was very blessed to perform Mozart's Così fan tutti or Puccini's Madame Butterfly. And I also learned a lot about voice pedagogy as well. Likewise, I also met a lot of gifted people who did not take up any music courses, and yet they were very passionate about music and they showed such great potential. So today, I think it's just about that, because today we have a special guest with us here, and we will be talking about a woman's journey from being a non-musician to actually becoming one. So before we introduce our guest today, I would like to say mabuhay and good evening. I am Sam.
Good afternoon to the other parts of the world. I'm Anton.
Good morning. I'm Nina. And good morning to all parts of the world.
Well, thank you guys for coming. And Kuya Anton, please do the honors. Who is our special guest for today?
Okay, I would like to start off with her school background first. She took up Bachelor of Arts in Psychology at the University of the Philippines in Diliman, then choral conducting at the Asian Institute for Liturgy and Music, and Bachelor of Music in Conducting at the University of the Philippines in Diliman also. And her music background as a singer, she was with the Philippine Madrigal Singers as Soprano 1, Soprano 2, Resident Arranger, Artistic Board. And for the UP Singing Ambassadors, Soprano 1, Soprano 2, Assistant Conductor. And at the Alegria Lounge, Manila Pavilion, she was a lounge singer. Then Helm Choral Society, Soprano 1 and Conductor. And the Chamber Choir of Asia, Soprano 2. As a conductor locally, she has handled 22 choirs, starting in 1987 up to the present. And to date, she has three choirs, namely the University of the Visayas Chorale, JRG Visayas Chorale in Cebu, Coro Ilustrado, Santuario de San Antonio, Forbes Park in Makati, and University of Asia and the Pacific Chorale in Pearl Drive, Ortigas. And for the international scene, featured conductor in the Busan Metropolitan Chorus, Korea, Asian Youth Choir, Indonesian Youth Choir as a featured conductor. As a festival conductor in the Busan International Choral Festival, or Fest International Festival for Choral Music, Lutomer, Slovenia. Satya Dharma Gita Festival, Semarang, Indonesia Choir Festival. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest for tonight, Miss Ana Tabita A. Piquero.
Hi everyone.
Oh,
Welcome.
Afternoon.
yes, we are showing this all around the world. So, ma'am, thank you once again for accepting this invitation. And
Thank you for
you have
inviting.
such a positive energy. Oh, thank you. Well, based on the introduction that Kuya Anton gave earlier about you, it's clear. It's clear that you are into choral music, and there's no denying how much you love choral music and harmony in general. So, for our first question, please tell us, how did you transition from being a non-musician to becoming the artist you are today?
By Anton's introduction, you see that I have a long history of oral music. Even before I was a music major, I really love since high school. It was just song fests things, but I really love harmony. So I wanted to join a choir, but I don't know, fate probably. There, when my mom and I go to church, it was a slot that doesn't have a choir in it.
Mm.
So the first ever choir that I ever joined was already in college with the UP Singing Ambassadors. And that was, I was so scared because I'm really basically very shy. I'm an introvert. And my mom literally dragged me there. I said, Ma, there's,
Wow, that's hard to believe, ma'am.
yes.
You don't look the part.
Years of training, but I'm still very shy. So my mom dragged me there because I didn't want to audition because I was so shy. And she dragged me into the College of Music and talked to Ed Mandiat, the conductor of EPC Ambassadors. And Kuya Ed said, akala niya, he thought that it was my mom who was going to audition because I stayed outside. I was just there on the railings. And then my mom pushed me in, and then that's the start of my choral. joining in the choir, and I really loved it. And it was also fate that I became a madrigal singer. Um, when I was in UP Sing Ambassadors, finally we went to church and found the choir, and that choir took me in as a singer at first, and then after a year, the conductor left, and at that time I was singing ambassadors, and there was no one else to teach the choir, and so they thought that could, because I was singing ambassadors, so they forced me also. There was no other choice but me to conduct the church choir. What they didn't know was I was actually, how do you say it? Trash. If you be singing ambassadors,
Wait,
I
that's a
literally,
bit harsh. Right?
well, you can ask Kuya Ed because I remember the
Mm,
first a quartet exam that we had for membership. So you
mm,
train
Mm.
and then you get this quartet exam
uh-huh.
to belong. You know, I failed that. Super fail. Like my evaluation was,
Mm,
I was singing double sharp.
mm, mm,
And I
mhm.
that time also, what the heck is double sharp? I don't know.
Right, right, right.
And that's the way I was. But I had to teach the choir, and somehow I want to,
Mm,
but not really teach. I call it sharing. I
Mm.
just wanted to share the knowledge that I was getting from UP Senior Ambassadors to my church choir. And so I shared. I just shared whatever I learned. And then Kuya Ed also asked me, since I was his assistant, he asked me to help him teach company choir. So my first company choir was the Bureau of Internal Revenue,
Oh.
BIR, and he asked me to conduct a competition, and we won. We won.
Oh.
We were the champions. I won best conductor, and then the judge at that time was, if you know him, it's Sir Joel Navarro.
Oh, yeah.
And he approached me afterwards and told me, Hannah, why don't you study um, music? He said. And I was already a graduate then, I think. And I said, I want to, but am I qualified? So I was so insecure. I said, just try it. I don't know if I'm going to pass. I said the auditions of UP. I said I want to, but I don't think I'm capable. And if you're not confident there, you can try out the Asian Institute for Liturgy and Music. So so I tried to, and I found out in ALM that I was actually a little bit more advanced than my classmates. That's the start that I became a music major in the ALM. And I really became a musician because at that time, when I graduated, of course, your parents expect you to earn money. And I literally had about
Here we go.
three jobs before I gave up. My first job was IBM, and then the next job was in Chevron now. Before it was called Caltex,
Mhm.
and then but the last and the final straw was Yamaha. I was the administrative assistant in the school, so I hired teachers. I really hired teachers. I was in charge of all the music teachers, and when I was working there, I kind of found out that I was swearing bad words every morning. I'm not going to say it online because you have to wake up very early in the morning, and then you have to go to office and do paperwork, and I have to take care of all the music teachers, and then I had to watch them do their recitals. Some of the music I didn't like, some of the music. It was really, really impressive. But I found out that I didn't like being on the sidelines. I didn't like it. I felt so sad. And the last straw was there was this CCP show with the UPC Net ambassadors, and we were invited to sing the Magnificat of John Rutter. And at the same time, I couldn't sing in that performance because at the same time, there was this recital, faculty recital. So all the students and the faculty will have a recital with Yamaha, and we produce the show, us, the officers. And then when I was watching the show, and I said to myself, gosh, there are beautiful music here, but this is not me. I want to perform. I
Mm.
really want to perform. So right after that recital, I went to my boss and told him, Sir, I'm going to resign. I want you to place me to the school. I want to be a teacher. And the boss looked at me, What? But when you are in school, you're just a teacher. Here, you are in charge of all the teachers. And I told him, Sir, I don't care. I am not happy. I want to teach. I said, Okay, it's up to you. And so that's the time that I really gave it up. I really didn't teach in the school. I resigned, and then right after that, went to ALM and studied in the College of Music. And then right after ALM, a classmate of mine uh, urged me to join the Madrigal Singers. And that was the history of it. I became MADS, and that was really by joining the MADS, many, many doors were open to me. And that's it.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Miss Anna. Actually, I've participated in quite a number of choirs myself. And even as I took up architecture as my course, I still found my ultimate passion in music. I suppose that is something we both share in common. It was during my last 2 years in college that I started my journey with music. I joined our college choir under Pax Romana. It is an international lay Catholic movement. And when I started to work, someone invited me to join an all-male choir based in Edso Shrine as bass one. They give me the part of bass one. And after 3 years, another opportunity came with an all-male choir again as tenor two in Santuario de San Antonio also, where Miss Anna and her choir also serve. Then next is a mixed choir as bass two at the Shrine of the Sacred Heart in Makati. But I'm also assisting the alto section. It's very funny that I do so many uh, parts in a choir. So sometimes I get confused. I'm singing the alto part when I'm supposed to sing the tenor part. It's really confusing, but at least it's still sync, right? So for my question, what are the differences or experiences in handling a mixed choir, an all-female choir, a children's choir, university choirs or government and church choirs, and most especially an all-male choir because you're a female. So what difference does it make with those different kinds of choirs?
Difference in terms of technical or difference in terms how to teach them?
Probably everything.
Well, technically, I love SAT because it's complete. The voices are complete. You have
Hmm.
sopranos, you have altos, tenors, and basses. And but I found out that when you teach all male, it's easier to blend
Oh.
because it's homogeneous. Even the female, because you don't have different. I mean, you don't have extreme like female voices and male that you have to really work hard to make them sound really homogeneous. In all male, it's all male, so it's just pitches that you have to blend. So it's easier even in girls. But with male, before I used to say, oh, I love all female. I don't like all male. I would say, but when I started teaching an all male, it's actually more exciting. Really, my colleague was right, um, because they have unlimited kind of unlimited range, especially if you have that counter tenor that will really reach very high. So you have very low voices and you have very high voices. But of course, it's not still as wide as an
Mhm.
SPV, but it's beautiful because you have the treble and you have the bass. Unlike when you have an all female, it's pure, it's ringing, it's angelic, but it's only treble. You don't have the bass, and you need bass. You know that you need the balance of it, and then that's it. I couldn't say about children's choir. To be honest, I avoided the teaching children's choir because I didn't see myself being very patient as a teacher of children until I had my own children. And yes, probably maybe in the future I will attempt it already because I know now how to approach them. But before I didn't know, so yeah, I kind of avoided. I was afraid. So I didn't know, and that's basically the difference. But teaching them, they're all the same. Whether it's a church choir or a university choir or a government choir, they all have this idiosyncrasies and quirks. And they wouldn't attend, they will attend, and everything. It's all the same headaches. I love though working with the university choir, which was under scholarship. Because if they're under scholarship, they are forced to attend. They cannot not attend because they will lose their scholarship. So it was easier to develop them. It was easier. The standard became really, really high. So if you see that most of my university, two of my university choirs are award winning because they are trained very
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
You know, the irony of it, my church choir, my very first church choir, I had not much attendance problem. They attended, everyone. I don't know why. Probably it's because of the admin, my officers. It was so maybe very, we had fun. It was friends. It was
Mhm.
about church. And it was fun. And everybody had to attend. I didn't have headaches, not much.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that, Miss Anna. It's a good thing that you were very transparent about the struggles that you experienced in training choirs, like what you mentioned earlier, the discipline of having them to attend all the time, and of course, some of them have invalid reasons for not coming. So,
That's
um,
true all over the world.
I also agree. I also agree about what you said. You talked about harmony. You talked about the treble and the bass, and how it creates balance and harmony. And I think there's still so much with the human voice that we have not yet discovered yet. So the voice truly is an intricate instrument. So in terms of that, I believe that you also have a performance to share with us today. So before we move on to Nina's question, could you please tell us about the music video that you have for us before we show it to our audience?
I talked about right the troubles that you have when you have a choir, and this is a classic example of it. I just started teaching the University of Asia and the Pacific like 2 years ago, and
Mhm.
when I started, there were only about 10 members, and and we kind of reached with not the non-university people. We reached about 12 to 15, and out of 15 singers, I had only about three or to four male, like maybe two basses and one tenor, or three basses, one tenor. It was not balanced,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it was so
Mm,
depressing because I couldn't I
mm,
couldn't find a way to make it really sound nice because you're trying to achieve balance. My
Mm.
girls were fine, but there's just a lack of boys, and nobody wanted to go in at that time. I don't know why. And probably something happened before I came, and there was this impression that they didn't want to join the chorale at that time. I don't know. But we couldn't get boys. So, but my standards are very high. I cannot accept
Mm.
something that is not nice. I had to make it nice. So here is the video, which which the tweak that I did. So I made an arrangement um, to adjust to the number of boys that I had.
Mhm.
So instead of having an SATB, I arranged it SSAB. Just all the boys singing one part. So here's the video.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Far away, far away. Ricochet, you take your aim. Far away, far away. You shoot me down and I won't fall. I am titanium. Shoot me down and I won't fall. I am titanium. 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 We shouting loud, but I can't hear. I'm talking loud, not saying more. Titanium, titanium. I'm criticized by all your titanium. They shoot me down, but I get up, get up, get up, get up. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet, you take your aim. Fire away, shoot me down and I won't fall. I am titanium. Shoot me down and I won't fall. I am titanium. 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 Cut me down, but it's you who goes down and haunted love. Takes you home, my sixth sense of I'm talking loud, not saying more. Whoa, whoa. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away. Ricochet, you take your aim. Fire away. Shoot me down and I won't fall. I am titanium. Shoot me down and I won't fall. I am titanium. Stone heart, machine gun, I'm not the ones who run. Stone heart, as bulletproof guns. Shoot me down and I won't fall. I am titanium. Shoot me down and I won't fall. I am titanium.
That was amazing, really. Even the editing. Miss Anna, did you edit that video by yourself?
No,
Wow,
I
amazing.
music, but the video was done by a student.
Oh,
Oh, but it's still amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you. What do you think, Nina?
Thank you for sharing it, that wonderful performance with us, Miss Anna. Right? The choir really gave us a sense of communal bond where social value and artistic excellence are required to achieve this harmony that is so represents a human soul. So even in opera, right, music and ensembles play an integral part in the role in the performance and escalation of musical and theatrical drama. I remember I was just doing some research and they talked about the Italian opera buffa, right? And I remember that Sam had mentioned that she had actually performed once in Così fan tutte, right? In Mozart's opera, where
Yes,
the
a
role of
comic opera. Yes.
yes, a role of the soloist and the role of the ensemble, right? In the past, they had the opera soloist was always being in the lead role and they had their long, extremely long condensers. But later on, with the opera buffa, they had awakened all Europe to the pleasures of the comic opera format and to the possibility of bringing new values to the lyric stage. So here in the opera buffa, they what happened was that the the ensemble became much more important, not not just only the role of the soloist, and so that added more excitement and more drama to the opera itself. So that is now we come to the next question that I would like to ask. As a conductor, how do you analyze and interpret music? And what tips would you give to and any of the music majors and non-music majors who would like to conduct choirs? Because I know that you have conducted 22 choirs in your long years of experience. So I'm sure you know all these valuable tips. So please share with us.
When interpreting music and the choral score in front of you, it's really best, as per my colleagues also, and for me to investigate. They tell everyone, we tell everyone to become like Sherlock Holmes. You research on the score that you have. If you want to do a piece of music, especially if it's not so familiar, well, I prefer music that has not been done by others because I value uniqueness. So that's why I also make my own arrangements because I don't want to sing what others have sung already unless it's really, 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 really beautiful. So as much as possible, I commission arrangements and compositions. And that's it. Whatever you have in front, you research. You research the composer and what do the composer want. And then every single detail, when you look at the score, you look at the form of the music, where, how does it start? Does it start quietly? Not just because it says piano. Okay, piano means soft. But why soft? Like, how soft? Is it a calm kind of softness? Or is it an eerie kind of softness? Is it love? Is it sadness? And there are several love songs, right? My guide, be your guide. Your guide should be the text. Read the text. Understand the text. So even if you're singing foreign language, Latin, maybe German, French, Hungarian, it doesn't matter. Research. For me, I ask my students, if I don't have students to do it for me, um, to research not only the general meaning. So when you see Pater Noster, right? You know that it's our Father, and then you get the text of our Father, and you just assume that what you're singing is our Father. In my choir, we don't do that. I ask them to research per word. So pater, what does pater mean? Noster, what does it mean? So when at the time that they start singing that specific word, what color would you use to sing in that specific time, that specific moment? So when I sing love songs, like for example, there is this song that Coro Ilustrado made. It's Muntik na Kitang Minahal.
Si Elmer. Oo naman siya.
I don't know,
Yes.
but I keep reading the text. And is this like a quirky type of love song? Is it sad? Is it? I kind of didn't get it. So, may sikreto ako sasabihin sa'yo. So you try to understand the text and you put yourself there. And what I took of the text was it's not really sad. It's kind of quirky, like a semi kind of cuteness to it, like a joke. So what we did, I think we're the only ones who interpreted it that way. If you find it on YouTube, we did actions that are actually comic for Muntik na Kitang Minahal. And it was fun, and even the composer liked what we did. That's how I
Yes.
do with music. So there is something beyond. There is something beyond the text, the music, the black and white, and you just have to find it. And it's not only technical; it's something inside you. What do you see in
Yeah.
it? So whether you're a music major or a non-music major, I think this is very essential because a lot, even music majors, they only see the black and white. So if you sing, for example, let's see, when I fall in love, it will be forever. So you just sing it technically. When I fall in love, it would be forever. But there's something beyond that. Like, how would you do it? When you say it, are you did you lose someone that you love, or are you saying it because you just found out that you love somebody at that moment, and so that makes a difference now on how you would see it. You can put now the beyond. When I fall in love. See, now you can stretch or make it faster and what you want. So there's something beyond the notes. And when I become a jury in choral singing, this is what I look for always: the beyond. What did you see in the music? What did you do with it? Is it just that you saw the piano, the forte, the mezzo forte, the staccato, or there's that why? So even if you're not a music major, you can interpret music very, very well. And if you're a music major, go beyond the technical. There's something there
Yes.
inside you, and that's the art. It's the color that you would use. That's the advice that I'm going to give. Anyone, you can always make music because this is art. And it is an expression of who you are. There's really no wrong or right. And even sometimes technical can be ano bang English ng baliin?
Break.
Yeah.
You can go
Can be
go against
broken.
the
Yes.
technical sometimes, but not very big, especially in competitions. But yes, in performances, you can. You can. May I say one story?
Okay.
Yes.
The first time that I
Yes, please.
competed internationally, I was such a baby then. I don't look at the scores um, technically. I'm not so. I'm not an expert then. But I was looking for a competition piece, and there was this competition piece by an Italian composer, Dino Stella. It was contemporary, and the title was Dona la pace, Signore, or Grant us peace, Lord, give us peace, Lord. So with the title,
Hmm.
um, I really interpreted it with that feeling, like Dona la pace, Signore, and it was so nice. And then when I went to Italy, my friend knows the composer. It's a friend of ours, the Madrigal Singers, and he said, "Oh, you meet the composer and tell him that you were doing his song." And I said, uh, "Hi, sir," in Italian because he doesn't speak English. I am. Thank you for your music. I am doing your music in the competition. And he asked me, which one? And I said, Donna Lapache, sir. And he said, and his face like went like this. Why that? And me, I was thinking about why not? Why not? And he said, but that's for youth. He said that's very juvenile. He said, and he started playing it on the piano like chan chan. You use a guitar and then chan 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 chan. Chan. And I was like this. And he saw my face, and and he said, "Why? What did you do with it?" And I was just like this. I kind of did it differently. I didn't see it. I said I was so afraid now because it was a competition and the actual interpretation was chan 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 chan, and I was like, oh no, and this was an international competition. And then he said, okay, wait.
Oh, the contrast.
He said, okay,
Amazing.
I want to listen to it. He said, just wait. It's okay. He said, maybe in the competition they're not so strict since it's contemporary. It's not historical anyway. Okay, I will check. He said. So my friend invited them to a small private concert. A few of his friends and some composers and conductors to listen also to my historical music for the competition. And they all sat in that church. They borrowed a church for one night. You know, in Europe, this is so nice. You can borrow a church and the sound. Oh my God, it's like heavenly. The acoustic. Anyway, so we started singing Donna Lapace in the church. The start of the song was Gregorian. So I really assumed that it was slow. Donna Lapace. And then it started. And then after our performances, like all of them were in tears. And they made the standing ovation. And then the composer approached me and said, "Ay, do it the way you're doing it." He said, Yeah,
Wow, that's very inspiring.
yes. And
Mm-hmm.
he became kind of famous after that.
Oh,
And he was invited to several festivals using that song on my interpretation. So
So it
sometimes
only goes to show.
It
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes it goes
Yeah,
to
yeah.
show that the composer themselves might not
Yes,
have the
yes.
best
mm,
interpretation, right?
yes,
And
yes.
yeah, correct.
True, true.
Yeah, and
True.
you showed them something that was so completely different from what they had actually expected. So well done, Miss Anna.
Yes,
I got the
yes, yes.
Yeah, right. So I think that gives hope to
Yes.
all our viewers that sometimes when what we see in black and white is really also subject to, as I said, like an investigator. I mean, what
Mhm.
is the mood? How are you going to approach it? And is there always is there a cookie cutter interpretation, or everybody? There's no really right or wrong, but following the text, it already gives you the a framework, isn't it?
Mm.
Right. So I think that is the defining quality between, especially at international competitions where everybody is so good. Sometimes it is the interpretation that says that, or the artistry that puts
Mhm.
them, one choir ahead of another, right? Or the club favorite. Is that what you think, Miss Anna? As
yeah.
since you are now a jury member.
Hmm. It's really subjective, competition. So just express yourself
Mm.
in
Yeah.
the framework, of course, of what is written on the score. Try to be as very the integrity, keep the integrity, but there's always the beyond, and I think that beyond will make you special. So
Yes.
it's like every child in this world, or maybe not every child, but it's do you remember this Crayola, the 64 color?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were given that. I
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
one when I was a child because there were so many colors. And I wanted to draw, and when that each child is given that, but what the child will do with those colors, that makes it different, right? So some would probably just use all oranges and yellows, but there are those who will use all the colors and maximize it. So it's the same.
Yes.
I think with everyone, we have our own artistry, and there are colors inside each and every one of us. So make the music your canvas.
Your soul. Your soul. It's important.
Yeah.
This is the virtual age, so you know that,
Yes.
that there are singers, not so good singers, even the artists, like in the Beauty and the Beast. What's her name? See, Hermione Granger. What's her?
Emma
What's
Watson?
Emma
Emma
Watson? Yeah.
Watson, I think.
Well,
Yes.
they say that Beauty and the Beast was auto tuned. I would guess now that I'm already editing music. Yeah, it kind of sounds like autotune. I didn't know what was that before. So it's entirely possible now to make a bad singer sound good. So
But
if you think, if you're not confident with your singing,
no,
use
don't.
technology and express yourself over the internet.
But for me, it's not natural if you do auto tune
Yeah,
because you don't present yourself, your inner self, right? So
express
what's the
anyway.
purpose of an auto tune?
It's really funny. My husband is also learning guitar now because of the pandemic. So he's now already into classical.
No.
He can read notes already because of the pandemic. So anyone. I
Yes.
am not a musician when I started. So my motto before was anyone can sing. So I handled a lot of out of tune government choirs.
But
And
not,
in my church, it's anybody. And we
but not
developed.
yeah, but not with the machine.
But now we're forced to
It
the
has to
machine.
come. Yeah, it has to come from your heart and your vocal cords.
Right.
Ay, nako.
Well, thank you so much. But I wish we could have you for future episodes. Miss Anna,
Yes.
because later on we'll be having events as well. So we would love to invite you and your choirs to join us when that happens, of course. And so please come around. And if Kuya Anton or if Nina invites you again, or me, I hope that you would accept, and we could also jam or
Yeah.
bond together
Yes.
using music.
And,
Yes. Why
and
not?
arrange and arrange
Thank
for
you.
us. And arrange for us.
Yes. Please arrange for
Yes.
us. Yeah. So maybe in
Instant
Singapore we'll
Thank
arrangement
meet
over
you.
the
you.
Yeah.
internet.
So in
Yes.
Singapore
Thank
maybe we'll meet
you.
you at MBS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So just before we end, Miss Anna, I think we still have one final music video from you, and this is very close to the hearts of the Filipinos. So could you just give us a brief description about this particular video, and let's inspire our viewers once more, please.
Okay, so this video was done by my Cebu choir. This was on the onset
Mm.
before many choirs have thought about virtual choirs. We already planned this. We wanted to do it for the pandemic, and at that time also it was the first time that I held a computer to record. I didn't know how to edit. Nobody knew how to make a video, but we kind of learned together. So it was a total challenge. Nobody knew how to record at home. So I said, it's just maybe a phone. And so recording with us were chickens and dogs and all those stuff, crickets. And I was crying already when I was putting it together because I didn't know how to reduce the noise. I didn't know how to adjust when it was off time. So this was all first. So this video was a first in the pandemic, just an offering.
sa aking minsan